Hooty hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. I'm Tall Mike. I'm so glad you're here. We made it to the end of the week, and what's going on in the markets today? We got a little rally going on. Nasdaq's up about 100, Dow's up about 50. Okay, so here's some great news for you. Here's some great news. The recession, it's been canceled. We're not going to have one. Look, we got the growing GDP number just came out. We have inflation under control. We have low unemployment. We have a new bull market. The Fed's going to pivot. There's no recession. Well, that's not exactly my take. But it's possible, right? It's possible. They could all be right. I don't believe any of it. I think this market is getting ready to to have the rug pulled out from underneath it. Look, I talked about how the S&P is going to get up to about 4,100, and we're right under that right now. And this is kind of what's called the triple top. Now, why do I think we're going lower, though? All these things are good news. They're all good news, right? I mean, there's no recession. Everything's fixed. The government's figured it all out, and we're clear sailing from here. The new bull market's taken up. I don't think so. Here's why. All right. So as a trader, I always look for clues, right? You got to look for the clues. Well, I look at the VIX. Now, the VIX is telling me, well, actually, it's really low right now. And it's telling me that a month from now, if you look at the options a month out, there is like, oh man, the calls are like 5 times as expensive as the puts for the same strike price that we're at right now. This is telling me that the volatility is just going to explode higher, and that's going to bring the market in a lot lower. Now, here's the thing. All right, so the S&P has been going up, right? But what about the junk bonds? The junk bonds haven't been going up. They turned already, and they're coming down. They usually give you an indicator as to where the stock market's going, and that's going to be in a downward direction. Look, we're at about 4,100, a triple top. Could we overshoot it? Sure we can. But I think right now is where they're going to get ready to pull that rug out. Be careful if you're long this market. That's all I'm saying. I know a lot of you think that the bull market's intact and we're going to go straight up from here. Not exactly my take. Now let's get over to the real estate market. But before I want to get over there is some other good news I forgot to report. Now Chipotle, they're hiring. They're hiring 15,000 people. 15,000 people are being hired. Now, all the tech workers, they're going to be able to go make burritos. This is good news also. There's so much good news. Look, there's good news, right? Well, I don't have a lot of buyers, right? I'm just an individual real estate broker. And right now I'm looking for some buyers. I got a few people that want to sell, but I really don't have any buyers. And I just lost two more. Why'd I lose them? Well, they got laid off. They were in the tech industry. They were going to look for houses. They were going to buy. They were going to be the purchasers. They were going to be the bag holders. But now they can't be the bag holder because they don't have a job. No job, no mortgage, right? So all these layoffs, now these layoff people could go to Chipotle, but I'm not sure that's going to be enough money for them to make their mortgage payment. Now here's what the articles are saying that I read. They're saying that a lot of the buyers, they get in the mind of the buyer, right? And they tell you this is what the buyer's thinking. The buyer's thinking right now, well, hey, nobody else is buying right now, and I'm going to take advantage of these discounted prices. I'm going to get out there and buy. I don't think that's what the buyer's thinking. Here's what another article says. The buyer's thinking that their interest rates are come down. I better hurry up and get in before they go back up. Look, it is true the mortgage rates have come down, right? They were up at 7 and they dropped to 6.15. But just this week, we went from 6.15 down to 6.13. Everybody, stop the presses. We're having a big drop in mortgage rates. You better get in really quick. Hurry, get in. I'm telling you, they push this FOMO out there, right? right? The fear of missing out. They're trying to get the buyers back into the market. They're trying to get that surge going again. I don't think it's going to get going again. Maybe I've got it all wrong. Maybe the stock market's going to boom. Maybe the housing market's going to go right along with it. But I don't think so. Now, a lot of people, let's talk about this 6% mortgage rate. Now, a lot of people go, Mike, 6%, that's such a low mortgage rate. Look, you go back to the 1980s and it was 18%. Now, look, I'm an old guy. Believe it or not, I was around in the 1980s. I was buying houses in the 1980s and it was great. You see, now here's the difference. In 1980s, yeah, we were paying 18% for mortgages. I remember the first one I got was about 14%. I was really happy. Yeah, I was just a kid. I couldn't believe someone was going to loan me money. But here's the thing. House prices were so much cheaper then. They were about 2 times the average household income, right? They were about double it. So if the average household income in 1980 was about, let's call it $25,000, $30,000, so a house was about $50,000 or $60,000. So it was twice the average household income for the average house, right? Okay, so it was much cheaper. Yes, mortgage rates were at 18%. I agree with that. And okay, but what is it now? Well, we're at 6% now in the mortgage rate. But do you know that the houses are about 6 or 7 times the average household income? Let's say the average household income, I don't know what it is, $60,000, let's call it. Okay, so you multiply 60,000 by 7, what do you get? 420,000. And that's about where the average house is, the average household income, the average house. It's about 6 or 7 times. Now, it's not 2 times like it was in 1980, so you can't really compare. I mean, you can't say, look, in 1980, the mortgage rate was 18% and now we're down to 6%. So it's a great time to buy. Get out there and buy. Now that's what I'm supposed to say because I'm a real estate broker. It's always a great time to buy, right? That's the first line we're trained to say in real estate school. If you learn nothing else from real estate school, you'll learn that it is always a great time to buy. That's just how it works. Now, why do I think that this housing market, why do I think it's going to come down 50%? And I think 50% could be conservative. Look, we're already down 12%. Now, to me, 12%, that's nothing. Look, we went up 40%, right? 20% a year for 2 years during the pandemic, 20%, 40%, and now we've dropped 12%. To me, that's not even a drop, right? That's like a drop in the bucket. That's nothing, right? All right, so in my opinion, this bubble, which is the biggest real estate bubble we've ever seen, is so much bigger than it was in 2008. It just is. And now 2008, you see what happened in 2008 was this bubble, right? This bubble. And the bubble popped, right? It was a subprime crisis. Okay, so now the air came out of the bubble. But they never let the air come all the way out of the bubble. They never let it finish. What'd they do? Well, they started printing money right away. And they said they were printing money to pop up the real estate market. Guess what? It worked. They got the bubble bigger. The bubble's so much bigger now. It's crazy, right? So now why do I think it's going to be worse now when the bubble pops in 2008? Well, because the bubble's bigger, that's number one, but because the cheap money's over. Look, in 2008, right, people would get, they'd use their house like an ATM machine, right? They were going up, and you could go refinance and get more money. You see, a lot of people that buy houses right now, you go buy a house right now, and I'm a broker. I see these people, look at, they're paying 50% of their wages go to pay their mortgage payment. Now, they're stretching to do that. They should never do that. If you have to spend 50% of your income on your mortgage, you bought way too big a house. You bought a house that you can't afford. And when the prices of ownership go up, look at the price of insurance go up, your property tax go up, you can't afford the house. But in 2008, what you could do is you could go refinance that house and pull money out. Well, the cheap money's over, right? Okay, look at, people cannot refi right now. Okay, the ones that are at 3%, they go refi, they're at 6%. They can't do that. They can't use their house as the ATM machine. So that way, really takes away that piggy bank that they have. They can't afford it. And with these layoffs, you realize that 70% of the people in the United States live paycheck to paycheck? Well, what happens when the paycheck goes away? Well, guess what? They can't pay their mortgage. Now, of course, the government might step in and say we can't foreclose on these poor people because they've lost their job. They just get to stay in their house for free. Now, that's completely possible. I'm not ruling that out. Our government does some really interesting things these days. That's just the way they are. But eventually, you're going to have forced selling. You're going to have forced selling, or you're going to have a lot of problems with the banking industry. Look, either way, you got a big problem coming because people can't afford the house when they lose their job. They can't keep making the mortgage payment. And hundreds of thousands of people every month, hundreds of thousands every month are going to lose their jobs this year. Look, that's not good. They're not going to be able to pay their mortgage payment. There's going to be these houses being dumped onto the market. And nobody believes this stuff. And in your area, nobody's out of a job. Everybody's got their job still. Don't worry in your area. Houses will probably continue to go up. Now, why else do I think this is going to be much worse than 2008? Well, 2008, what happened? We had that subprime mess, right? Okay, and the houses started to drop. Well, the Federal Reserve, what'd they do? Well, they panicked. They reduced rates. Immediately, the Fed pivoted and they brought them down to zero immediately, right? And they started printing money in the form of QE, QE1, QE2, QE3. Quantitative easing is what that stands for. QE4, 5, 6, QE infinity. Now, we changed the name of QE and we call it stimulus now. Now, everybody wants a stimulus check. Don't you want one? Everybody wants one. Well, what do stimulus checks do? Well, they create that inflation. Now, they think they have inflation under control. I'd beg to differ. Inflation's still going up. It's going up at a slower pace. I'll give them credit there. But here's the thing. Look, they can't drop rates to zero because they have to fight inflation. And believe me, there's going to be a second wave of inflation coming. Now, look, mortgages may come down to 5%. Inflation may come down to 5%. But eventually, you're going to get this second wave. Now, when's the second wave coming? I don't really know for sure, but I'll tell you how you can know. Watch the price of oil. Right now, oil's around $80 a barrel. Look, when oil gets over 100, when it gets to 120, 130, 140, 150, and that's where I think oil's going, then you're going to see the inflation wave, the second wave. And it's going to hit a lot harder than that 9% that they were talking about. It's going to overshoot that, right? And that's where the mortgages are going to go up because they're going to have to raise rates. Look, they may just wave the white flag and just say, let's hyperinflate, but that's the worst thing that can happen to a country. So the Federal Reserve, this time around, the bubble's bigger, but they're not going to be able to bring rates down to zero. Not going to happen. They're not going to be able to print unlimited money. They were printing $4 trillion a year back then to prop up the houses. They're going to try. But what's that going to do? That's going to hyperinflate. Hyperinflation's terrible. Just terrible for a country. If they're that dumb, man, we're in big trouble. I pray they're not that dumb. I pray they keep interest rates up to keep the battle with inflation. And if they got to battle inflation, second wave is going to be higher than that 9%. Once again, this is just my opinion. I'm sure your opinion's very different. People say I'm insane. People say I'm absurd. Just read the comments. I love the comments. You guys are great. Now, most people agree with me, but there's those outsiders that might be, while they're listening to the wrong channel. They should click the channel off and go to one that makes them feel warm and fuzzy. Go click on another real estate channel. They'll tell you it's a great time to buy. They'll tell you that mortgage rates are coming down. They'll tell you the prices are coming down, but you want to get in. They'll put that FOMO back in you, but they'll give you the warm fuzzies. They'll make you feel good. I'm not that channel. You're on the wrong channel here. I give you the truth here in my opinion. Once again, it's just my opinion, but it's what I believe 100% true. Now, if you like this stuff, give me the thumbs up. Why not? It's the weekend. You got the weekend ahead. Everybody, get out there. Have a great weekend. Hit the subscribe button. I want to talk to you again next week. Very exciting. I think next week's where the market's going to come back down. We got the Federal Reserve coming out next week. They're coming out with with their announcement. What are they going to do? Everybody's expecting a quarter basis point hike. Maybe they won't hike at all. Maybe they'll go 50 basis points. Either way, it's a market mover, and I think the direction of the market's going to be down. Get out there, enjoy the weekend. Bye-bye now.